So it's census time again, and have been a lot of questions recently in the news about whether or not the questions that they're asking in the census are actually constitutional or not. And I'm not a lawyer, nothing in this video should be construed as being legal advice, but this is the research that I've done on it and what I've decided to do. The original purpose of the census was to figure out how many people were in each state, so they knew how many representatives each state could send to the House of Representatives. So from that point of view, anything beyond a simple head count really doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for the government to be asking those sorts of questions. There are different forms that different people are getting for the census, and apparently some of the questions are things like how many toilets do you have in your house? Just basically things that have nothing to do with what the original intent of the census was. And so at the end of this video, I'm going to link to some videos by lawyers and their opinions on the subject. But basically, what it boils down to, the way that I see it, is that the government does have the right to ask all of these questions if they want to. And this is basically what it says on the census website itself. It says that there have been rulings that state that the Census Bureau can ask these questions, and it does not violate your Fourth Amendment rights. However, nothing on the website says anything about your Fifth Amendment rights, and so you always have the right to remain silent. So in other words, the government has the right to ask these questions as long as it wants, all day long, and you have the right under your Fifth Amendment rights to then remain silent and just say, I remain silent all day long. So I think that the first two questions are basically the same question. On mine it says, how many people are living or staying in this house? The answer for me is 1. Are there any other people? The answer is no, just the 1. Anything else doesn't have anything to do with the census, and so I'll cite my right to remain silent in the Fifth Amendment. And as you can see here, I've actually written in Fifth Amendment as each answer. So there is no information on here which is incorrect. Everything is completely truthful, and I have actually answered every single question with the answer of, I'm citing my Fifth Amendment rights to remain silent. And I've also included a sheet just so that there are no confusions about what I'm saying on the census, that my answer to each of their questions beyond the first two questions is that I cite my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. And if they try to give me any kind of grief about it, then you can just ask for your Miranda rights. And they will be forced to reply with that your Miranda rights are that you have the right to remain silent. And so you can simply do that and remain silent. There isn't anything else that you're forced to do. There is a law apparently that says that for every question that you do not answer on the census, they can fine you $100 up to a maximum of $5,000. However, no one has ever been prosecuted for that, and that law is not part of the Constitution. So that automatically means that the Fifth Amendment, which is an amendment to the Constitution, automatically overrides that law. Okay, so now the videos that I was going to link to. Oh, and by the way, one thing I found odd about this was this business about the logo here. They put a trademark registered symbol after the United States. Why would that be necessary? Unless, is the United States a corporation that needs to have protection of its logos from itself? I mean, it's very strange they would put a registered trademark symbol after the United States there. But anyway, the videos are, okay, the first one is this one from Freedom Watch, in which they basically summarize, or they go over what I just covered, in that you can cite your Miranda rights for any questions that you don't want to answer. The next video is one, it doesn't really have, it's not specifically about the census, but it does have to do with basically any kind of questions that any government official might ask you, and why it's generally a good idea not to answer any questions that you are not absolutely forced to answer. And the reasoning being, let's say that some crime is committed and a police officer comes and asks you questions about where you were on the night of the crime. And let's say that you are totally innocent. It is actually in your best interest to cite your Fifth Amendment rights to remain silent. Because if you say, well, I was seeing a movie that night, if that police officer then goes and asks somebody else, where you were on that night, and this other person says that you were somewhere other than at the movie, now that police officer has a reason to haul you into court and to have you prove that you are not lying to the police officer. So that you may, of course, be able to easily prove that you were not lying and that you were just at the movie theater and you had nothing to do with any of this stuff. That may be the case. However, you are going to have to take time at least out to go on trial, and you might have to get a lawyer, and you have to do all that stuff. You're much better off not giving the police any information at all. He also talks about a lot of the tricky techniques and tricks that police use to get people to start talking. And basically the simplest and most effective thing that he mentions is that people love to tell their story. So as soon as they get somebody into the interview room, that person wants to get out of the interview room no matter what, as quickly as possible. And so people pretty much just start talking. And the police officer really has no incentive at all to get out of that interview room, because the police officer is being paid overtime to just sit there and wait for you to start talking. So really, I do recommend that you watch this entire video. It shows you basically the mindset and the tricks that police use to get people to cough up their secrets. And then this last video is the Citizen's Guide to Surviving Police Encounters. And this is a good one. It seems to have become fashionable lately for the police to just set up random checkpoints around and start stopping people at random without any kind of cause or provocation and search their cars. And so this video is a good idea to watch to give you an idea of what you can do in that kind of situation. So check out the videos and have a good one.